Hi community, it's All Being Well Wednesday, and we focus today on sleep and give you some good sleep tips, practices. So especially at this time that we all experiencing this extra stress that can affect our sleep, and for some of us it will be more anxiety, more kind of in the belly, more kind of unease. For some of us it can be more thinking, overthinking mind, and also kind of when it's windy, it can really affect our mind. So it's kind of vata, so it's like air, and we overthinking. And there is really simple techniques to help that. So first thing that I would say is focusing on the pineal gland. So your pineal gland is at the very center of your brain. It's not in the left hemisphere or the right hemisphere. It's at the very center of your brain. So somewhere here, but in one line with your forehead. So the third eye point, which is the yogi's really into, because they're really into the pineal gland. It's where you're regulating the release of serotonin and melatonin. You produce it in your gut, but you regulate it in the brain, the pineal gland. And the also release of DMT is coming from the pineal gland. So it's kind of where the light and the dreams coming from. That's what science now finding out. A way to help the pineal gland is basically complete darkness when you go to bed. So you want to work with the circadian rhythm, with the, when the sun is rising, you wake up. When the sun is setting, you go to bed. But obviously, if you're in the northern hemisphere, sometimes it can be 4:30. So in the afternoon. So I'm not saying go to bed that early, but a rhythm that is suggested is waking up around 6 o'clock and going to bed at 10 o'clock. That's kind of ideal. And then that gives you something throughout the year, and you can adjust it a little bit when it's a bit more dark or a bit more light. For me, kind of the best advice would be around 8 o'clock, shut down all electronic devices, like tune out from the world, because we are overstimulated by all of that, So that is really actually stressing our nervous system and adrenals. So if you want a better sleep, then tune out a little bit, and and give yourself a rest, and also give your eyes a rest. So I met a scientist, a brain scientist, researcher in a dinner party a few weeks ago when we were allowed to meet up. And he was saying that, he was asking me what would be my 4 very foundations of well-being. And I said to him that the first one will be to sleep in complete darkness. And he basically came and shook my hands, and he said, I do the same, because it's actually, he found that this is, when you do that, the brain can reach what he called state of, like, the peak performance, he called it, of the brain when you practice that on a regular basis. And so basically from about 6-7 o'clock, start to dim the lights in the house. So even if you leave some artificial light, maybe put more natural light, like candles, like put the fire going, like just having more natural light helps the pineal gland a lot. And so the pineal gland understands that when it's getting dark, it's supposed to release melatonin, and then when it's light again, it releases serotonin, and that balance is really helping us also emotionally, because as you know, serotonin is a hormone associated with happiness. So when you wake up in the morning, even if you don't want to leave the bed at 6:30 or 7 when the sun is rising, depends on what time of the year, then at least open the curtains and make sure that you're getting natural light when you wake up, if it's possible, depends where you live. But again, using more natural light is always better. Dimming the light and going to sleep in complete darkness will change your sleep dramatically, I promise you that. Other things that can help is very light dinner, or you could skip it altogether if it's something that you can. If not, just have soup or something easy. When you're still digesting overnight, it will affect your dreams, it will give you nightmares, and you're not sleeping, you're not as restful as you can be, because your body's still digesting. And actually from about 10 o'clock, it's supposed to go to regeneration mode, and it wants to clean your body. So actually it's a good time to be in bed. no, sorry, not to be in bed. It's a good time to do that. So 10 to 2 o'clock is when you regenerate the most. Okay, so what I was thinking today, we could just give you something very, very simple to do. So when you lay down in bed, you could do Supta Baddha Konasana if you know this pose. It's just kind of opening your hips. You bring the soles of the feet together, the heels towards you, and you open the knees to the side, and you can put a cushion under each knee. And that is really calming Vata. It's calming the air. It's calming the busy mind. And other ways you could do it is just lay down on your back and let the eyes drop to the center of your brain. And that is considered to be very, it's like a rasayana. It's part of the kind of the rejuvenation advice. So it's say that rejuvenation is always associated with juiciness. I'm going to do a course about rejuvenation very soon, so please keep your mid-January. So 5 days. So basically what you want to do is you want to let the eyes kind of drop to the center of the brain and kind of almost like bath in the juiciness of the center of the brain. There is like water there, so it's kind of nice and calm down, and that will also help to really ease the mind from all the social media and the kind of all the devices stimulation. It will really calm it down and really kind of improve your eyesight too. And then breathing. So when we're breathing deeply into the belly, let's do it together actually, and I can explain you as we go along. So just sit in any comfortable pose for you, and rest the palms of your hands on your thighs. You can, if you sit on a chair, just put both feet on the ground, or if you're cross-legged, just kind of make yourself comfortable, move the sit bones a little bit, elongate the spine, open the chest, and let the tailbones drop. Relax the tongue, relax the jaws, and breathe deeply into the belly. And as you're breathing into the belly, the diaphragm pushing all the organs out, and you feel this nice expansion there. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm going back up under the rib cages and the belly sinking down, all the organs going back in. So ideally, we want to free the breath rather than control it. So let the breath go as deep as it wants, or maybe it wants to go shallow at the beginning. And as you exhale, let it drop right down. You can keep this and kind of this video, and if you want to do it just before to go to bed, go up to about minute 7, and then this practice will be there available for you, okay? So now that you're comfortable with the breath in and out through the nose, be aware that as you're breathing in and you're allowing the belly to expand, that means that the breath reaching the very bottom of your lungs, which will stimulate the receptors of your parasympathetic nervous system. Exhale slowly, and then inhale deeply. And exhale as naturally as you want. It could be slow, it could be fast, just let it do its thing. Now, if you are more of a thinking mind person, or just specifically this night you're feeling that you're more in your head, then the focus will be on the nostrils. You can also alternate. You could start with the nostrils, and then if you want, you could go down to the belly. So the breath is cooler as you inhale in the nostrils, and warmer as you exhale. And the same thing now you're doing if you're more having anxiety or things that are connected to your emotion, then it's in the focus is in the belly as the breathing, as the breath moving in and out through the belly. So I would recommend you to do this kind of breathing, long diaphragmatic breathing, You could just do 7, 10 before you fall asleep. If you do it with supta baddha konasana, you feel much better, especially if it's dark and especially if your belly is nice and empty. You'll have a nice sleep. And also Epsom salt is a fantastic one. Have a lovely sleep, and do have a look at what's coming up, because there will be a lot of rejuvenation program coming through, and they're very interesting to integrate a better way of living that will be conducive for your well-being, which means you can be a better force on this planet. Lots of love, Rena Golan. See you next Wednesday.